Coming up on today's episode, you may hear information about different NFTs or investment opportunities. As always, we remind you we are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, and some of the information you hear may be inaccurate. Enjoy the show.
Do your own research. Sorry, fuck that bit up. Hello and welcome to Nearly Fresh Topics. We are not quite cutting edge, but we're close. This is a podcast about NFTs, primarily some crypto, some fantasy, some comedy bits, and some quirky news. That's what we're going to be talking about. So this is episode number 5. Jason, how are you doing?
It? I'm great. I'm great. Yeah, 5 already is crazy. I'm doing well. How are you, Ross?
Yeah, grand. Let me see what's been up in my life. Well, I previously talked about I started the intermittent fasting.
That's right.
To lose the weight, and it has been going all right. So I think I've lost between 9 and 10 pounds so far, which is pretty good because I'm not like eating particularly healthy. I guess I'm a wee bit healthier, but no, it's a sort of thing that works, and yeah, it's going well. Like I still have how long to go? We use stones in the UK.
Right.
I'm 17 stone, whatever. Well, I'm 17 stone now instead of 17 stone point, whatever.
Oh, good.
10. So it's going well, but so I need to get down to like 15 or 14 and a half, and that's the goal. But
and a stone is what, 7 pounds as a stone?
No, it's 14, I think. Yeah, that's right, 14. So if you're 15 stone, then 14 times 10 is 140. And so it's 210. 210 pounds is like 15 stone. So that's what I want to be at. And also still not drinking. Although you will see me take a swig of this. This is fake beer.
I like me an Erdinger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A Dunkel or a Weiss beer.
Yeah, this is Weiss beer. I don't like the Dunkels. Fuck that shit.
Too dark.
Dunkels. Yeah, too dark.
I like me a dark beer. I'm not a hops fan, but I am a dark beer fan.
Yeah, same. I'm not too keen on hops, although I'll drink like Brewdog. You ever heard of Brewdog?
It seems vaguely familiar.
It's like I think we were one of the first to go heavy on the hops. It's a craft beer from Scotland, which like it's an hour that way where it's brewed in where I stay, and it's all the rage in Scotland and England, but I don't know if it's all the rage anywhere else. So, but it's
very good.
It's right.
Brewdog.
Close to us.
I'm trying to think what's new with me since we last spoke. Not a whole heck of a lot, just the same old kind of, every day in the NFT space, living the life, trying to figure out how I can make it a little bit better.
Right on. Aren't we all, eh?
Yeah.
You said you were a bit ill. You were sniffly. Coughing and hacking.
Something this weekend. Not COVID, I don't think, because I got over it relatively quickly. Lingering.
Wait. You did have COVID? No. You said it's not COVID because you got over it quickly.
I assume it's not COVID. Again, right. I do the same sort of, my fiance works in a restaurant, so she'll get a test whenever she has to. So I do the same thing that you kind of said you do, which is that drive by around the way. If my partner's got it, then I probably have it too kind of test.
Yeah. By the way, that's a Mitch Hedberg one. He says, I get the roundabout AIDS test. I called my buddy, hey, do you know someone who has AIDS? It's like, no, cool, because you know me.
Good old Mitch. Good old Mitch. But we can't play it. Well, maybe we can play it. We got our first copyright notice through YouTube for the episode that just released today, episode 3. We're recording episode 5, but episode 3 just released today, and Yeah, luckily it's not one of those notices that means we have to take it down. It's just one of those notices that means we might not make any money if making money ever becomes a possibility on that
Yeah.
specific episode.
And it better fucking become a possibility. You guys better like
Yes,
this shit.
that's right.
5-star rating, you know.
We picked up another subscriber this morning, so it's
Awesome.
probably not good form to tout your 31 subscribers on your podcast, but that's just the YouTube. And from what I've been looking at the analytics, I believe we have more views and listeners
Mhm.
on like the podcast side of it than we
Oh,
do
sweet.
viewers on the YouTube side of it. So
Mhm.
yeah, we're
Excellent.
getting there. We can't expect overnight success, but pretty close to it.
Well, you'd hope so, you know. Gotta stick with it. It's like that one time I went to Taekwondo, you know, for an hour and it
Yeah,
didn't come out like a killer. I was like, what the fuck
right,
is this shit? Yeah.
right.
Where's my black belt? God damn it, I have to work. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to that end, we may be better off getting 10 or 15 under our belt and then
Mhm.
getting people to view it so that they don't
Yeah.
listen to 1 hour and go, this is it. This is all
Yeah. Well,
nothing,
this is awful.
but those who are enjoying it, we've heard from and we appreciate it. And
Mm.
yeah, it's a good growing community over on our Discord server. So by
Yep.
all
Yep.
means, check that out. Again, link in the description of this episode.
For sure.
Um,
Are you actually putting links? Because I've never checked. I'm just assuming, you know, you would because you're a very
that
organized person. But
that would be a good that would be a funny joke if I just was saying all these things.
link in the
Um,
description, guys. Is like, you know, that John Travolta meme.
yeah. I'm just linking our website and letting people find all the links from there, Discord,
Oh yeah,
Twitter, all
sweet,
that kind of stuff.
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
very
cool.
cool.
So yeah, we got our first copyright. So that's the good rite of passage, really.
Exactly. Right, a
Got to
passage
happen.
down. Yeah. Yeah, it means we're on the way. We really,
That's right.
really are.
Gonna
We're
make it.
on the way.
What's
Um,
uh what's the crypto saying? WGMI.
yeah,
That's right.
WAGMI. We are gonna
WAGMI.
make it.
There.
Wag me.
Wag me. That's
Wag
right.
me.
It still confuses me, all this shit. It took me
Yeah.
forever to figure out the GM and GN was good morning and good night. I was like, what does
Yeah.
this mean? So cryptic.
Those ones make me laugh, the GM and the GN, because I really only see that in particular NFT spaces, not even every NFT space, just
Yeah.
some of them.
It makes me
Yeah.
wonder, like, you've not got time for just good morning. It has to be GM. You're fucking saying that everywhere. You know, your morning is
Yeah,
taken up by just
that's right.
all this typing GM.
Well, you know
But
how quickly this space moves. By the time if you took the time to type good morning in full, it would already be the afternoon. So,
that's right. Christ almighty.
um, did you see this? Speaking of moving quickly,
Mm.
that's probably a bad segue, but I'm going to keep it. Speaking of moving quickly, JP Morgan says Ethereum is losing NFT market share to Solana, which
Well, I'll
does
be
not
damned.
come as any surprise to me.
I'm I can't say I'm surprised either. I think it'd be good for me. I mean, most of my shit's in Solana, so I'd be down for that.
Yeah, agreed. Congestion and high gas fees are the number one reason, or I guess the number one and two reason,
Mm.
uh, which is pretty good in terms of um, good reasons to move to Solana because
Yeah,
of the relatively low gas fees. As Solana, I'm pretty sure Solana gas fees are pretty stable. Like you're either going to pay. They say that the most you'll ever pay in fees is like 0.0005 Solana,
yeah.
which is great. Sometimes you pay a little bit more, sometimes you pay a little bit less. But my question is, once Solana becomes worth as much as Bitcoin, um, that 0.0005 would still be pretty expensive. So I guess
Yeah.
there's got to be a way to look at the chain and figure out how to reduce gas prices. I don't know, but that's a happy problem to have. That's probably pretty far down the road at this point.
Yeah, probably. It does make me wonder, because I was looking at another token called Near Protocol. Have you heard of that?
Near protocol, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was new to me as well, and it the transaction fee was 0.1, I think, or 0.01, and I thought to myself, well, Near is about, I think it's $18-19 just now. So you're
Okay.
0.1, or I think it was 0.1. It's still like $1.90, I guess, for your transaction fee, which is way better than Ethereum. But it just makes me wonder, when it goes up in price, like Near, will the transaction fee still be 0.1, or will it be 0.01? For example, if it 10x, is it going to stay that same? So I'm not sure if that percentage of fee sticks, no matter how it appreciates or deprecates. But it's a good question to ask someone who fucking knows about it. I guess I do not know about it, but it does make you wonder, if Near goes up, Near protocol goes up, does that percentage stay the same? Because if so, it will eventually get very high and a pain in the arse to pay, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have the same. I guess really it all comes down to scaling issues, but I have the same question about Matic, right? Polygon. You use Polygon because it's virtually the same as Ethereum. It's compatible with OpenSea, so it's easy to do everything you need to do.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pay 0.01 Matic, 0.05 Matic, even 0.1 Matic. Even if I have to do a transaction that's going to cost me 0.1 Matic, and I can't think of a transaction that has cost me that much. But it's the same question. You hope eventually one Matic is going to be worth more than the $2 that it's currently worth. So what happens to gas prices at that point, right? Because going back to Ethereum, 200 Gwei, which is a small fraction of 1 ETH, right?
Yeah.
It's point and then 5 zeros and then a 2. So but because ETH is worth so much, and because you have to these contracts are getting bigger and bigger and smarter, which means they're costing more gas.
Yeah.
I'm not certain how Ethereum version 2.0 is going to solve that. And I'm starting to read more and more about how it's not necessarily going to solve it. Version 2 may make the network less congested and faster, but there's still going to be a bare minimum gas price that maybe is higher than everybody's expecting it to be. Right. If you've still got to pay $10 or $12 per transaction,
it's still quite prohibitive. It's not like Solana, and I really hope Solana grows and appreciates, because it's such a useful blockchain, it's such a useful currency. Just working on it, I guess, using it is a dream, really, and fucking no complaints whatsoever. I really like it. I had a good thought. Oh, that was it. There is this company rather, called Gain Credits, and Gain Credits is based on Matic, so it takes Matic scalability even further. So essentially, every transaction the company pays, because it's like a fraction of a cent, fractions of a cent is that small. Right. But I remember speaking with I think he was a partner manager, Chris Lovell, I think his name is. He was telling me, since Gain Credits started appreciating, and the price has gone up, that means the transaction fee has gone up. Right. Since the company is paying for it, they're beginning to feel the pressure of this mounting, because they pay for every transaction, obviously that's great if each transaction is just a fraction of a penny. But when that starts to appreciate, you're like, okay, it's now costing maybe a penny, and I'm doing fucking 2,000 transactions per minute or something. And I'm really not sure how heavy they are on transactions right now. I do know it's a very useful blockchain, and I actually released my Pokebabes on game credits.
Right.
And it's once you get game credits, nothing costs you. There's no gas fees whatsoever. So it's very useful.
You'll have to send me the URL for Pokebabe so I can do another one of those wife things, which I really enjoy doing.
Absolutely. And just to give you a quick rundown, people who are listening, Pokebabes is what you would expect. It's very, very sexy Android sort of Pokemon things. I don't know why I done it, but
yeah,
it's
if you want to feel slightly confused about what you're feeling, then check out Pokebabes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, my favorite childhood characters. I was like, oh my god, she's so thick though. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
What are these feelings? What are these stirring desires? And not affiliated with Pokemon whatsoever.
Nope.
Nothing to do with Pokemon, in fact.
Nope. Just pure coincidence. Same 4 letters. But to that end, about scalability and transactions and transaction costs, this article says that Ethereum's market share for NFTs was 95% at the start of 2021, and now it's down to about 80%.
Oh, still fucking strong though, eh? I'd expect
really
more,
strong,
or less rather.
That's a substantial drop, right? And I'm sure it'll continue this year.
That's true. That's wild to think though, that 80% is still on Ethereum. That's a lot. That's a lot of fucking gas fees.
The last sentence of this is interesting. JP Morgan cautions that if Ethereum's loss of NFT market share continues in 2022, it could be a bigger problem for its valuation. I don't know about that. I mean, it's inevitable. It's inevitable it's going to lose market share. 80% is not sustainable, not in a decentralized space. And B, that assumes that a lot of Ethereum's value is tied to NFTs, which I don't think it's true. I think Ethereum's value is tied to its viability as a legitimate currency.
I do sort of see its true utility more as NFTs rather than a currency.
Right. Oh, really? Okay.
But, yeah. Just because I may be biased, like because I discovered it. Well, I did discover. Let me get this right. I first learned of it when one of my mates, also called Ross, started. He bought a 1080 to do mining, and that's when I first heard of it. But I only really discovered it when Mark McKenna was like, "Oh, I'm doing NFTs," and look into it. And then I looked into it, and it's like, "All right, NFTs." So basically, that's all that I know it from is NFTs.
Okay.
And I guess that's why I would be biased in a sense. I was like, "Oh, all I know about it is NFTs." I understand that can be used as a currency, but if I'm fucking the gas fees, man, if I'm trying to fucking transfer you, here's $100 for that work you done for me, whatever. And I need to pay fucking, $30-$40 on top of that. It's just it's rough. I can't use it. I think if you're transferring large sums of money, like if you are a whale or even a bit less of a whale, even if you hold, I don't know, 10 Ether, you might think I can just throw this gas fees away. That's nothing to me.
Right.
But, after a few transactions, you're beginning to think, oh, maybe that isn't nothing to me.
Well,
so yeah. I don't know. It doesn't seem so useful in that sense, but that's because I'm not dealing with large sums of money. So it might be.
No, that's fair. And I mean, ultimately that I think more, they're all related. I think the cost of gas on Ethereum is going to contribute far more to its success or failure than NFTs will. Theoretically less NFTs on the network is arguably better for gas fees, right? Because gas shoots up when you have tons of NFTs moving,
Yeah,
and it
that's right.
starts to drop a little bit when you have less NFTs moving. So if there was some sort of happy medium where there were, that's basically supply and demand. Whenever
Mm.
there's less NFTs available, thus allowing the gas price to fall, people are going to go back to releasing NFTs on Ethereum, causing the gas price to go up. And it's just going to continue to go back and forth, really,
Yeah.
until some sort of either stability is somehow created, or, people look at those alternative blockchains that run off of Ethereum. And
Mm. I was about to say that, like, Ethereum is very handy in that way. It's sort of had all these little offshoots of very useful blockchains in their own parts. The scale two, is it scale twos?
Yeah,
Level two, yeah, level twos, and even some level threes. I'm not sure if there's level fours, might be, but yeah, I didn't really think about that because Ethereum's the big daddy of all those. I would presume if Ethereum was no longer to exist, then those would all go too. So it's almost like its value is tied to the success of its children as well, in that sense.
Yeah. And I was I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about researching the crypto market, or how you keep up with the market on a daily basis. And honestly, at this point, I have one app that just shows me the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum right away as soon as I launch the app.
Mhm.
And that pretty much tells me the whole story at this point. If those two things are up, then the market's up. If those two things are down, then the market's down, and very rarely is one up and one down.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've got about 5 or 6 that I keep a watch on.
Yeah.
5 or 6 that I hold, really, and that's it. But it is true, when Bitcoin's pumping, mostly everything else is pumping, and when Ethereum's pumping, same. It's you can usually tell. It's very, very rare that, say Matic's pumping but Ethereum's dropping, but it happens.
Yeah, it definitely happens, and there are specific. We definitely don't want to let people think we're saying it never happens, but I think there are specific reasons for it. Like if the market's down but Matic's up, obviously something's going on. It goes without saying, something's going on specific to Matic that's causing it. Awesome. Yeah. So, I think everybody migrating to Solana is going to be good for the space in general. It's not good for Cardano. Not sure where Cardano is at this point, where ADA is, and why things are not churning for ADA, but I guess that's another conversation. So the other thing I wanted to get your opinion on when it comes to NFT news, and we kind of talked about this the other week, when it came to sometimes artists don't like to put their name out there as working on NFTs because of this rivalry, or not rivalry, but
there's you become like a goddamn. We're both failing on vocabulary here. I was going to say it's not Paragon. It's
like
what's the opposite of Paragon?
You're almost like now I want to say parasite, but that's not correct. Pariah. You're a pariah.
Pariah. There you go. That's the one. Yeah, if you mention NFTs in the regular art space, then you will be judged, and you will be judged harshly. You're pathetic.
And then the other issue that the art world has to deal with, and this is not the first time I've heard about it, but it appears to be making mainstream news at this point, is Thomson Reuters, which is similar to the Associated Press in terms of their news aggregator, and the NFT art market has a mind-blowing fraud problem. And I'm sure you've heard of that as well, right? So how do sales have soared past $25 billion in 2021, but more artists are sounding the alarm over thieves stealing their digital work. How big is the industry's fraud problem? Pretty big.
I would say,
Actually,
yeah, pretty big indeed. I do have some thoughts, whether they're well articulated or not. Time will tell. Let's see. I think crypto and NFTs in general are the Wild West. It's literally you are your own sheriff. You have to make sure that whatever you're buying or whatever you're holding, you're your own security.
yeah.
There's no policing it. And if there is any policing it, I've not actually heard of any policing. I've not heard of anyone get caught doing a rug pull or something, or
Right.
I've not seen anyone get any repercussions from being fraudulent with crypto, basically.
Right.
So it's really important that you yourself are extra responsible with whatever you hold and whatever you buy. And I think that's the appeal of crypto and everything decentralized, is no one's holding your hand. Like, you need to take care of your business or you're going to get fucked, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've mentioned before, lost some money someone stole from me from my MetaMask.
Yep.
And it was a hard lesson. And thankfully, it was not too large an amount that I couldn't recover from. It was hard at the time, but yeah, that was a hard lesson to learn, but the lessons learned. And now I'm like, I'm not going to let that happen to me anymore. Now, in terms of the art market, if you're seeing a piece from an artist that you like, say, and it's clearly undervalued, it's down to you to do your research. You need to make sure that this is the right person you're buying from. You need to, you can even get in touch with artists and say, is this yours? I want to make sure it's yours, So
that's fair.
There is a fraud problem. However, you bring it on yourself, I would say. If you purchase the wrong piece of art, or an unoriginal, or what would you say, an unauthenticated piece of art,
Sure.
you got to blame yourself,
Sure, there's that. But what about, like, for artists that are getting their stuff stolen? Do you have you given any thought to how you kind of protect yourself from that as an artist?
Not really. I'll tell you what though, there's a site called Deviantart, and I was on Deviantart all the time when I was younger. It was like my start. It's where I started networking with people. When I showed off my gallery and stuff.
When I first heard your name and I Googled you to check up on you, your Deviantart, I think, was the first thing that came up.
Yeah, that's right. So search number one is Rossi Campbell Deviantart, and they've introduced I was going to say a program. I'm not sure it is a feature, I guess, where if your art is on Deviantart, they will check the blockchain for copies.
Oh.
And I'm not sure how many blockchains, but they do check for you. And so if you're an artist and you're concerned about that, that's something that you could probably do.
That's really interesting. That's a good feature.
Yeah, a very good feature. But it's not, I guess, people would take people's art anyway, and they would put it on t-shirts and sell them, This isn't a problem just specific to NFTs.
That's true.
People would take your art and make prints of it and sell them. Like, all this stuff was happening before, only now it's just like people don't have to leave the confines of their bedroom, I guess, to do it. I had another thought on that. Like, people have been protecting their art, their digital art online for a good while now. And often, if you were to showcase a piece in your online gallery, what you do is just make it really small. So if someone tries to print it out, they're just going to get this blurry mess.
Right.
Also, that's why watermarks are a thing,
Right.
I guess this conversation could go into like stock images, for example. if you find a stock image that you want to use for whatever photo manipulation or texture, which I have many a time, and you find these, what do you say, the watermarks on them,
Yeah.
well, you just can't use them, and it gets annoying at the point, because like if you're just creating non-commercial art and you just want a cool texture and you're like, fuck, I could use that, but I don't want to pay 10 quid for it or whatever, your watermarks will work, your small images will work, and so I wouldn't say it's much of a problem, like people have already been using these methods for, well, I don't know for how long, for a while at least, and they're methods that work. So if you're releasing art online and you're concerned about it, just put a watermark on it and release a low resolution preview.
Yeah. So yeah, that got me curious, people stealing art. I guess people have always stolen art. I guess even to the point where there are art heists in museums, right? Some daring caper totally. Where you go in and steal the Mona Lisa or whatever you are going to steal.
Yeah, I guess that is my thoughts on it though. Like people have always stolen art, as far as I can remember, and I'm young, so
right. But
yeah, it's anyone that says, "Oh, NFTs are bad because," and it sort of sounded like that to me. I just get the defenses up, and I'm like,
right.
Am I going to hear a bunch of bullshit now, or am I going to hear something?
Right, that's fair. I guess it's back to our NFTs worse for the environment than your local bank branch discussion.
Yeah, totally.
Something else that we've talked about here is, or at least I think we have, is different ways to get more in the mainstream. And here Coinbase is coming out with an NFT marketplace, as we know. And it says Coinbase will let you pay with MasterCard in its upcoming NFT marketplace. Nice. Which is, again, the next evolution, because NFTs should not be so intrinsically tied to cryptocurrency that you have to understand cryptocurrency. It's one thing if you're looking at NFTs as an investment vehicle, then you should probably understand cryptocurrency in the market. Yeah. But if you just want to buy a piece of art by your favorite artist, and that art happens to be an NFT, then you shouldn't have to learn about the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. You should just be able to whip out the MasterCard and buy your favorite piece of art.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a bit of a challenge for me to get my first crypto, particularly when it was Ethereum and the gas fees were high. But I mean, they weren't that high when I bought, but still. But it makes sense that it makes sense that there's a system that you're ready to pay. It checks the value of Ethereum, say, and it just debits your card from that. Why not? It should be very simple. And crypto and NFT should not be prohibitive, I think.
That's something that one of the projects that I work on, Metaforce Comics, we're trying to be, and we are, a comic book company first. So eventually the plan, and sooner rather than later, is to sell the comic directly on our website for credit card payment. It'll still go through the Wax blockchain, and the Wax blockchain, speaking of gas and fees, is another really good one, because it has a completely different fee model where you stake a certain amount of Wax cryptocurrency, and then the amount that you're staking buys you a certain amount of resources on the network. Right. And those resources last, they're renewable. Every 24 hours you get back your full amount of resources. So if you're doing a lot of transactions on the chain, you either just need to temporarily stake however much crypto, do your massive amount of transactions, and then once you're done the next day and your resources refill, you can just unstake that amount of Wax. So so ultimately it's measured. Sorry,
I was going to say, so it is gas free in that sense.
It is, yeah, like you're temporarily paying fees, but you can always get them back.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is
And I
nice.
and I really think those fees are just a way to protect the network from becoming too congested, right? Because if you had no restrictions at all on how many transactions people could do, then you're just going to get malicious actors DDoSing it essentially for no reason, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question for you. Staking.
Yeah,
I don't understand how it works. I understand that you stake something, so you put it back on the blockchain, I guess. I don't know. You give ownership to someone else, and then you get something in return.
yeah,
Potentially, you stake Solana, say, and you will get a return on that Solana once
that's
you
right.
unstake.
That's right.
Who that's all I know from it though. I don't understand who does it benefit. Like where are they getting this other Solana from? Say I stake 10 Solana and
Right.
I get returned 11 Solana because I staked it for whatever. I don't get why that's useful or who it's useful to.
So it depends on the type of staking and who's doing the staking and what the goal of the staking is. So I'll give you two different examples.
Yeah.
One would be um, when a master brews project, at least a project we did the technology for, whelps.
Mm.
When that came out, eventually we released a staking mechanism where you could stake your whelp for between 3 and 30 days, and
Mm.
in return you would receive another NFT.
Mm.
Now, in that case, that was just something fun we did for the community, and it was a way to increase value. Hey, you're going to get yet another NFT for this initial purchase that you made. So in that way, it was designed to raise value for the community, but it wasn't necessarily designed, and it wasn't designed for master brews or whelps ownership to make money off of, right? It
Yeah.
was just,
It's
it was almost
sort of
like a
like
game.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It seems like it's just a fun feature to use, like to get
Right.
people engaging with it.
Right. So in that case, yeah, it was more like a game than anything
Mm.
else. If you look at a staking program that an exchange like Binance offers, for example,
Yeah.
then it's just very similar to a bank and a bank earning interest off of your money, right? So if you deposit money into your savings account, a traditional money into a traditional savings account,
Yeah.
well, your bank is using that. Your bank is not letting that money just sit there. They're using it to make money. They're using it to buy and sell things. And in
Mm.
return, you get a little bit of interest for leaving your money with the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the same idea as what people are normally talking about when they talk about staking. So with
Mm.
Binance, um, again, Solana, I can stake X number of Solana with Binance for whatever their APY is, however much percentage per year they're offering me return. And
Yeah.
that's the same thing, because they're taking that 1 or 10 or 100 Solana that I'm staking, and they're
Mm.
using it to increase their own buying power, to increase their own assets, and
Yeah.
then they're giving me interest essentially as a
Okay.
reward.
I figured it might be something like that. Like I did view it as like a traditional savings account.
Yeah.
What I still don't get is what I think typically with a savings account, when the bank gets money, they loan it out to other people.
Right.
And then they pay interest and are able to pay you back with some extra, right?
Right.
Do people get loaned crypto?
Yeah. You are starting to see that now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you get a loan in crypto, and how do people trust you enough to pay crypto back?
So that's where we're starting to see more like, KYC, right? Know your customer. So you have to, whenever you sign up for a new exchange, usually these days it's not as decentralized as it used to be, right? You've still got to share identity documents with the new exchange and things
Right.
like that.
Right.
So it sort of comes down to that. These exchanges know who you are now, A, and then B, it's not just as simple as like no, not that this is simple for everyone, but in
Uh,
theory, it's not as simple as calling up the bank and saying, I need a loan, and the bank
uh,
going, okay, your credit's acceptable, so we'll give you that loan.
mm,
This is more like you're going to Binance and you're saying, hey, I have 10 ether currently deposited with you.
mm,
Could you temporarily loan me 15 ether? So
yeah,
rather than me pulling that 10 ether out, I'll leave it staked. You give me some liquidity temporarily. It's the same basic idea, but you have, in my experience, you have to have like, I had $10 worth of Matic staked with one exchange. And when I
yeah,
looked at the dollar value of what I could borrow was like $12.
okay,
So you're
right,
not getting very much leeway, not
yeah,
at the levels, not at my levels, at least
yeah,
anyways.
yeah, yeah. I bet. Well, when you've got great credit, you're getting a very low percentage loan,
Right.
and when you've not got great credit, well, you're getting a very high percentage loan,
Yeah. And then I
a
don't
very
even know
small
how,
loan as well. Mm,
and I don't know how you define credit in crypto. So it is
mm,
interesting. You are starting to see that. And then there's another model of staking, which is like for governance.
right.
So when you stake with Wax, as we previously talked about, you're
Yep.
sort of you're staking not only so you get a certain amount of resources every day, but you're also staking so that you earn votes, so you could vote on the future of the blockchain,
Right.
theoretically. Although
Mhm.
I've been using Wax for almost a year and I've never voted on anything. But you're also not earning. So with
Mhm.
Wax, you are technically earning some currency, but
Yep.
it's fractions of a percentage, right? You don't stake with Wax as an earning vehicle. You stake with
Okay.
Wax so you have resources and so you can have your say. And so, yeah, there's not one specific definition of staking, but
Mhm.
normally it's you're giving party A something in return for something else, whatever that
Okay,
may be.
got you, got you. Well, that is helpful. I'm glad you're as smart as you are.
I try.
Stop, stop.
Oh, you.
Uh, Another thought I had then, because we're getting ready to do NFT staking in Heroes and Villains.
That's right.
Heroesandvillains.io, everyone. The best fucking NFT project on Solana, if I don't say
That's
so as
right.
myself.
That's right. It absolutely is.
So we're getting ready to do NFT staking on Heroes and Villains, and basically we're staking our NFTs for a return of the Heroes and Villains tokens for the
That's right.
game coming up.
That's right.
So it leads me to another, I wouldn't say issue is the wrong, I guess just something to figure out in my mind. Another obstacle for me to wrap my head around is you NFT staking is like, it's almost like you're taking a loan out against another bit of capital. Say I'm taking a loan out against my house, I'm taking a
Yeah.
loan out against my car. Well, except in this case it's not we're taking a loan out against anything, I guess. but
You know,
but basically I see how that could work if you've got a high value NFT, like a Oni Force. I think it's Oni Force, ON1 Force, who knows, or a Bored Ape.
yeah.
You could potentially stake that instead of crypto and get
Yeah.
a return. And
Yeah.
if you don't pay us back, we're going to keep this basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, I can see how that works. That's cool.
Yeah, and the staking of heroes and villains is another sort of value added stake. It's
Mhm,
not exactly the same as whelps,
mhm,
because with whelps it was a one and done. You stake your whelp, you get an egg for your second NFT, and then
yeah.
the transaction is completed. With heroes and villains, the staking is to get you some in-game currency, so
Yeah.
that the value there is that you're not going to have to pay for that in-game currency when you want to start playing the game, whereas other
Yeah.
people would have to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not to say people won't or can't make money off of the in-game token that they earn from
Mhm,
staking.
mhm,
Again, I'm disclaimer being I don't have anything to do with that part of Master Brew, so I have no idea about the staking or money to be made or lost or anything. I'm just saying in general, in general, it's a value added reward, and it could theoretically make money down the road depending on how, like anything else, how much demand there is for those in-game tokens, right?
Yeah, totally. So that's what I was thinking. I think there's the 2 in-game tokens, and then there's going to be a sort of master token
Like a governance token almost, yeah.
Right. And I assume the governance token would be on an exchange that you would exchange like fiat money for or other crypto for. So in a sense, it is. Well, yeah, we'll see.
I'd rather not speculate, but yes.
Something like that. Anyway,
yeah.
So
Project
it's definitely
X
interesting.
would do that. Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, no, it's going to be the first time I've staked anything, and I'm looking forward to it. I just, stake something for how many days and get something in return sounds good to me. So
exactly. At the end of the day, even if the tokens that you're earning don't end up becoming worth anything, you still have the fun of the gamification of hey, I'm gonna get something every so often, and that's fun. You bought this NFT presumably thinking that, hey, all I'm going to get in return for purchasing this NFT is the NFT, which should be enough. That should be sufficient. That was the deal. But now you're getting these other things for it. If they're worth money, great. If they're not worth money, you still have the fun of collecting. Collecting's fun. And if you're in the NFT space, you probably have a bit of a collective style personality. So
I would think so.
Like anything else, collect comic books, collect hockey cards, collect hero and villain tokens.
Try to think what I've collected recently. Like, well, other than heroes and villains, I guess I started collecting computer components, like PC components. Yeah, that was very expensive, so I had to stop that. I wasn't even collecting. I was just like, oh, I'll get a fucking 1060, see how that runs. Oh, I'll get a 1050, see how that runs.
Right.
I'll get a fucking 2080, see how that runs. And it's like, all right, stop there, sell. But no, I don't keep many things, to be honest. Strange.
No, I used to.
Oh, books. I collected books.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of. I stopped now. Now I'm on Kindle Unlimited, so I read that.
Okay.
And, but anyway, sorry, I cut you off.
I always thought it would be fun to have like a rare book collection, like I don't know. I like the idea. Have you ever seen the movie? I think it's called. I'm gonna fact check myself. I think it's called The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp.
Right. Not seen that.
And I may completely butcher the synopsis because it came out in 99 and I don't think I've seen it since 99. But the idea is that he's some sort of, Dean Corso, Johnny Depp, specializes in tracking down rare and exotic volumes for collectors.
Right.
Boris Balkan has recently acquired a 17th century satanic text called The Nine Gates, a legendary book written by Satan himself. So I'd like that kind of stuff to be true, not necessarily the existence of Satan and a book written by Satan, but the idea that you could collect, like, I don't know, some rare version of some book that's been around for thousands of years, and I could walk into a bookstore in New York City or London and somehow stumble upon that volume to purchase. That's something cool to me.
That would be pretty cool. There's a show called Antiques Roadshow you might like.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You need to be so knowledgeable about this sort of thing, though. Like, you don't know what you have until someone who knows about it tells you, oh, this is a famous fucking Ming China vase, whatever,
right,
from Emperor such and such. I was like, all right, it's letting the cash in it or something,
I need to start going to more yard sales or estate sales and happening upon. Or have you seen Storage Wars?
Yeah,
where people will buy storage units and then hope there's something good in there.
Christ, that's so risky. I wouldn't be doing that shit.
And yeah, it's the same. What's the difference between spending $500 on a storage unit or $500 on an NFT, right? It may be worth money, it may not be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, it's a good thing we have that disclaimer that runs at the beginning of these episodes now.
Yeah. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. As Left House likes to say, we are not the smartest apples in the bunch.
Yeah, I have well, NFT project. It's not an absolute stunner, but it's something that made me laugh, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. So, not this one, but basically it's NFT highs or NF thighs. And it only appeals to me because I like the wide hips and the big thighs and the large. Yeah. Anyway, so there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 6 of them.
Okay.
Well, clearly it's just like the same figure, same silhouette, and you just change the clothes, I guess. But
yeah,
I was looking at this one here. Hold on, let's see details. I was like, yeah, that's cool, that's futuristic, and it was the only one that was left actually. And I was like, all right, let me see how much is this. It's 1 near. Remember I mentioned near earlier?
1 near, yeah.
1 near. So this is on near protocol, and 1 near is about £15 or $19, $18,
right,
$19.
That's not bad.
So I was like, Jesus, that's an NFT I can actually afford. Let me fucking see if I can get some near. So I converted some Cardano I had such a pain in the arse trying to get this near because my Binance wasn't set up and I didn't really know how to use it.
Okay.
And I don't know, the app experience, the Android experience on Binance just wasn't working for me, and it took me about an hour to try and get this. And when I was ready to buy, it was sold. So that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
There's only 6 of them, but they seem like something that can be painted up pretty easily. So I expect to see more sometime. But I don't know. I just found it funny because I was like, oh God, where's this NFT project? I need to find a good one. And I wasn't finding anything that was appealing to me. And I was like, oh, well, I like chunky thighs. So that's all I got, basically. They're just one-on-ones, and it looks like it's a cool little series in the making. Nothing earth-shattering, but so that's my NFT project. Also, it did make me think, okay, this near protocol, what's all this about? And it is a token that is already worth something. It's worth £15, right? $18 to $19. And they do have this new Paris, perhaps, NFT Marketplace. And I was like, I wonder if we could do something with it. I say we, me, whoever. It's just, I think it's a good thing to try out new marketplaces and see, like, if you're one of the first, you might make a nice shilling or two.
I agree.
If you try something,
So do you know what transaction fees are like at all on your protocol?
Yes. So I may have touched on it earlier, actually. It's 0.1.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Which is about $1.8, which is way better than Ethereum. Actually, let's see. I'll see if I can. Let's pretend to buy something just now. Actually, no, I don't think my new protocol thing's connected. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I do believe it's 0.1.
Cool.
But anyway, new marketplace. If people want to look into Near, go for it. Not financial advice.
No, never.
But if it's new, then chances are it'll build. So
yeah,
you may
agreed.
Want to. Yeah,
agreed. I had kind of the opposite experience that you had in trying to get currency available. Again, I'm a big fan of Wax, so I'll keep talking about it multiple times a show if I have to. But crypto.com added Wax before the new year, maybe right. In November, or sometime around November. And so I had the absolutely amazing experience of sending $20 from my bank account to crypto.com
Right.
using that $20, just $20 to buy wax, and then sending that wax over to my wax account, my actual wax account. So in less than an hour, and only for $20, including fees and everything else, I had managed to buy 41 wax, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was standard market rate at the time, but just when you compare that to 6 months ago, even, in order to buy wax, I had to buy Ethereum, transfer that Ethereum to whatever market had wax, buy wax, paying huge transfer fees, and then send that wax over. Or you could buy it directly through wax, but you had to use something like MoonPay or whatever. And then so you end up paying 50% transaction fees almost. So just the idea that I can turn $20 into 40 wax in under an hour. And I can do that with a shit ton of currencies now because of places like crypto.com. And, to me, that's even better than Binance, because with Binance, I can't deposit money directly to Binance. I theoretically should be able to, I just can't get it to work. So I was having that
same problem with Binance, because how do you buy near? Oh, Binance, you can buy it on Binance. And I'm trying to deposit money, I'm trying to pay with my cards, because 15 quid, just go for it. That's all it needs. And it just wasn't happening. And that's why it took me over an hour. I was like, fine, I'll just transfer some shit that I know from Coinbase that'll work. And then there you go. But
so again, things are, not in that case for you, but in general, things are getting easier. And let's see if like I'm pretty sure the reason I can deposit directly to crypto.com but not Binance is because crypto.com is registered as a Canadian financial institution or something. Again, I'm speculating, I don't know anything about this, not financial advice, but they've obviously done something differently than Binance has done, which kind of keeps more of a, crypto.com, obviously, with their sponsorship of UFC and their naming rights to Staples Arena, they're trying to become more mainstream. I'm just checking, I'm stalling because I'm just checking for you to see if Near is available on crypto.com. Let's find out. Lots of stuff is. Near protocol is.
Oh, cool.
So in theory, I could do the same thing. I could just deposit $20 into crypto, buy Near, and then send that to my crypto wallet directly.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I'll remember that, because I did subscribe to crypto.com, I believe. That's when they bought the Staples Center, and CRO was going to go through the roof. Never ended up buying any, but I should be on it. I think I didn't end up buying any because it was like, 3 days wait or something. And I'm like, fuck it. Doesn't matter.
I have a crypto.com prepaid Visa card. So anytime I use that, I earn 1% back in Crow.
Oh yeah, nice.
Which is better than the 0% I earn on my other spending cards, right? So
yeah, totally. Oh, by the way, I checked my notes earlier. The Near protocol transaction fee is 0.01. So not 0.1.
Okay.
Which is a fair bit better. That's 19 cents instead of $1.90.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that right? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's good. That's pretty good scalability, I would say. So Near protocol, something to check out, folks. Buy or don't buy, that's your problem, not mine.
That's your problem. I did just so we can put #fantasy in the tweet, I'll say that I did watch episode 2 of The Witcher, and I'm still quite enjoying it, but I'll hold off on any review until I get a bit further in, and maybe we'll do an episode in the next couple weeks where we focus more on fantasy than we do on NFT.
Yeah, I'm down with that, because again, I think that's a love of both of ours, really. Crypto, NFT, and fantasy, maybe similar.
Yeah, I'd like to do more.
I want to. Yeah. I wanted to speak briefly about Cobra Kai.
That's right.
Season 4 came out recently, and I've not had time to watch The Expanse, but I had time for Cobra Kai, which was about 30 minutes long instead of an hour. And I got in the bath because I was shattered and my bones and my muscles were sore from working on this fucking house.
Yeah.
I'm building a wall, by the way, and that I'm so manly. Oh,
We're supposed to
oh.
build bridges, not walls.
Well, I prefer walls. But anyway, yeah, I love a hot bath and just watching something or just staring at space and thinking. And like the bath is the meditation for me. Basically, it's like my complete chill out zone.
Okay.
I guess you could say. Absolutely love it. I would spend all day in the bath, and I almost have. I spent up to 4 hours in the bath once. Just keep on refilling it, so it's like roasting hot. Anyway, Cobra Kai. I really like Cobra Kai. It's cheesy. It is really cheesy, but I think they do it really well. Like
William
know they're
Zabka,
cheesy.
right?
Who is that? The director?
Is it the Cobra Kai's the? Maybe I'm getting it wrong. It's the Karate Kid spinoff, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Zabka was like the bully from the Karate Kid movies, and I guess he's all grown up now.
Yeah. All grown up. Yeah, Zabka, and the other one was can't remember now. Can't remember the actor's name, but anyway, yeah, it's both the same actors, and now they're teaching their own kids to fight, and it's just it's got this really cheesy vibe to it, but it's everything that you love as well. It always makes me think of like this karate thing it's almost like an underworld in itself. It's like you've got this normal people stuff, and then you've got all these clubs and clans fighting each other, and I don't know, something really appeals to me with that. It's just sort of mystical, and everyone knows karate and they're always fighting, and it's action packed really. Like every episode has a nice fight in it, even if it's just like a training fight. It's cool. I love it. I love the music. I love the music. The story's fine. Characters are cool. I say cool. Some of them are very cool. Some of them aren't. But no, I dig it. It's nice, easy watching, and it's nice action as well. So 5 stars for Cobra Kai. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Awesome.
It reminds me of something actually. Sorry if I can go on about karate. I guess there was this. I think it was a Super Nintendo game, or it might have been a PlayStation 1. But have you ever heard of Shaq Fu?
Yes. Yeah.
You played it?
I don't know if I ever played it, but I definitely have heard of it. I'm familiar with it.
It's funny. It's like the basketball player Shaq. He loves video games, and he made a video game with these other developers, I suppose. And the story is basically Shaq goes into like one of like a sort of old Chinese store in New York, or I don't know where really, and picks up an artifact and gets transported into another world. And this game is basically a fighter where you run around on a map, like an overworld sort of map.
Yeah.
And you stop at places and you fight the boss there. And then you run away and fight some other boss. And I don't know, it's sort of fantasy as well. It's just karate. Shaq's doing karate, and then you're just fighting all these cool characters. And I don't know. It really appeals to me. I'm not sure it makes me smile when I think of it, but it was a good fun game. So had some great characters in there, some great art as well.
That's good.
Anyway,
I do remember that. And I think there was a TV show called Fresh Off the Boat, which was about it was a recent show, but it told the story of an Asian family in the 90s. So it was kind of like that 90s show. Are you familiar with that 70s show?
Yeah.
The TV show. I've
never watched it, show, but yeah, I know the vibe anyway.
And I think there's an episode, either the first episode or in the first season, where the kid, he's about 12 years old, really wants Shaq Fu because it's about to come out.
Right.
So
cool. That's how old it is.
That's good.
Oh, another one. What's it called? Jackie Chan's Kung Fu Adventures or something. Like there's this Jackie Chan cartoon.
Yeah.
And have you seen this, or am I just explaining to you?
No, I've heard of it, but I don't know much beyond its existence.
it's basically just Jackie Chan and I think his niece, and they live in this like old ancient Chinese store or whatever, and ninjas come and get them, and they have to collect amulets, and they're always fighting and karate and all that shit. It's so much fun.
It's funny.
I don't know why I'm loving this so much. It's Christ almighty. But it's cool. It's just cool. It's like, I don't know, I guess just fighting with your fists and your kicks and legs, and all these people know kung fu, and like how do all these people know kung fu? It doesn't need to make sense. It's just, no. Fights are cool, and Jackie Chan's cool, so you enjoy it,
exactly.
Boy.
Good. Well, I think we've got time for some quirky news.
Nice.
And this news was submitted by a listener, Crypto Bingo, my pal and yours, Crypto Bingo. So listeners, by all means, if you have quirky news or comedy or anything that you think would be interesting, feel free to hit us up and we might feature it on the show.
Absolutely. Make our lives easier, please.
Exactly. That's essentially what I'm saying. So this is another bit of quirky news from closer at least to you than to me, which is Leeds in West Yorkshire. So Leeds Get Baked Bakery, Bin's bestseller in topping row or row. Say row or row? Row means a fight. We don't say row here, but we do enjoy when you guys say row. So a bakery has had to stop producing its best-selling biscuit after officials found the treats were topped with illegal sprinkles. Whoever wrote this article had a lot of fun.
Illegal sprinkles, no less.
West Yorkshire Trading Standards said the imported decoration had fallen foul of UK regulations. Trading Standards said that E127 food coloring, also known as, here we go, erythrocene, is only approved for use in the UK and EU in cocktail cherries and candied cherries. So if you're having specifically cocktail cherries or candied cherries, then you can have that E127 food coloring. But on top of a biscuit, too dangerous.
No, absolutely not. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You don't know what's good for you. God damn it.
No, exactly. We have to tell you what's good for you. So I think this is the crux of the issue, which is that the sprinkles are US made. And
yes.
They probably want you to use British made sprinkles. But the bakery owner says British sprinkles are rubbish. So I don't know. Do you have an opinion on British sprinkles?
Yeah, they're rubbish.
They run and they aren't bake stable. The colors aren't vibrant and they just don't look very good. So, listen to this. Mr. Meyer's plight was recognized by two former Great British Bake Off contestants who sympathized with his desire to obtain suitable ingredients. Ed Kimber, 2010 winner, agreed supermarket sprinkles were not as good. So there you go. I guess there's a consensus that British sprinkles are rubbish. You heard it here first, folks.
Must be. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Damn fucking foul, dirty sprinkles.
Foul, dirty sprinkles. So those are the quirky stories that I get up for in the morning. That's a story that I live for. My life is better for having known this story.
Well done, Crypto Bingo. Thank you.
And then should we sneak in a comedy bit? Mine is very short. It's from the late great George Carlin. When you eat too many baked goods, sometimes you may need to use the washroom. And in this clip, George Carlin has something to say about using the washroom. So we'll start it in 1, 2, 3, 4.
And speaking of my colon, I want you to know I don't automatically wash my hands every time I go to the bathroom, okay? Can you deal with that? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You know when I wash my hands? When I shit on them. That's the only That's equal. And you know how often that happens? Tops. 2-3 times a week. Tops. Maybe a little more frequently over the holidays, you know what I mean?
Well, he's got a point.
So that's my my favorite line. You know how often I shit on them? 2-3 times a week tops. A little more during the
Tops.
holiday. A little more during the holidays.
He's well, I was going to say he's a good comic. I think I'm not even sure he classifies as a comic. He's like a fucking philosopher, really.
Yeah, it's good shit. Although he's one of the greats.
Is he still alive?
No, he died. It's been some time now.
But it was like recently. It was like maybe 5-6 years ago, was it?
Let's find out. 2008.
Okay, yeah, so fair bit ago. All right. Yeah, he's a goodie for sure. All right, so my comedy bit of the week is, it's not exactly a bit. It's during a podcast, and one of my favorite people, I suppose two of my favorite people, Theo Von and Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz is such a character. Like, he grew up in New York. I want to say the Bronx, but I'm not sure. Basically, sort of far from Silver Spoon. He was always stealing. He was always doing drugs. His mother would be running, or his aunt would be running the numbers, like the lottery numbers, like the illegal sort of stuff. And I know he's got such a great story. And Theo Von also, like, when the two of them get together, just, it's such a laugh. And like, Theo Von he's the star of this show. Basically, the way that Theo speaks it's like poetic. It's like, how do you think about what to say? Like, how do you think of these things to say just off the cuff? Like, it's almost like, so he must have rehearsed that, but you can tell that he hasn't. It's mind-blowing. But anyway, cool. Okay, so Joey Diaz and Theo Von, and basically what happens is Joey farts and makes his co-host smell it, Lee, the poor boy, and just the way Theo Von sort of riffs on it is amazing.
The kids are out there beating each other with, people chasing each other with fucking, fucking horse skulls and shit, bro. It was wow. Oh, wow. Joey fucking that Christmas tea kettle, and he fucking serving Lee a couple cups right there, boy. Big Lee the fart sponge, baby. Welcome
Lee
to
the fart
Africa,
sponge.
Normally I like all your sayings. I don't like the fart sponge.
Sorry, bud. And I'm just joking about that. I didn't mean that. I would never say that about
No,
that,
it's
man.
funny when people, he's going to take a liking to it. It's been like 2 podcasts since he farted on me.
Oh, dude, in some countries, in Japan, that's like buying somebody a scarf.
No,
You know what I'm saying? You fart on
You don't
somebody.
know I'm half Japanese. I'm
There you
23 and me.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I'm over here farting.
Oh, he's got the thighs of a fucking kung fu fighter, son.
I'm telling you, dog.
Dude, you gotta know different nomenclatures and how to give a hug, bro. In Africa, they hit you with a fucking pipe, bro, if they love you.
Just take a whiff of that fart.
I'm not
Just
going to take a whiff of
whiff.
your fart. It's
Come on,
disgusting.
bro, get a little air appetizer, bro. Treat your nose.
That is tremendous.
Treat your snout to some of that fucking free booty pasta, bro.
Yeah, it is kind of well, I'm definitely not going to use the word magical when it comes to that clip, but it's nice when somebody can just run with, like, their thoughts while making it seem as polished as if they had written some of those one-liners, but they're really just thinking about it for the first time.
Yeah, oh no, it's incredible at that. I love it. Treat your nose, treat your snout to some of that free booty pasta, yeah. Anyway. It makes me happy. It makes me laugh every time.
Good. And it's good to end on a laughing note. And I think that's what we should do, because we have subjected you all to over an hour of us. And I think that's more than we can reasonably ask. So
I feel bad also.
But if you would like to come on as a tokenomics expert, or as any sort of expert that you think we'd be interested in, hit us up at asknftpod@gmail.com. Or if you just have a question for us, asknftpod@gmail.com. Or you can visit us at nearlyfreshtopics.com. And from there, find links to our ever-growing Discord community, where our good pal Crypto Bingo suggested that quirky news of the week, which I thought was quite quirky.
Very fitting.
Very fitting. Until then, we will see you next week. Thanks very much for listening. Talk to you soon.
Fresh out.